What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. I thought I did an intro video for my install, but I did not. So in this video you're going to see some footage I did a couple weeks ago installing the Eventuri cold air intake and the solar throttle body. So let's go ahead and jump into the video. These upgrades I'm going to be installing are available at fabspeed.com. The cold air intake is here and the throttle bodies are down here. By the way, they do have the best high flow cats and the best exhaust options available. The very first thing you want to do is undo the negative terminal for the battery. I like to wait at least 15 minutes before I start unplugging things, but it's going to take you a while to get stuff undone back here. So I would do the battery first, and then what you're going to have to do is, you guys know that if you have a coupe, your roof does store back here, so you have to take out these mounting points right here. So there's 4 T15s in there. You also have these anchors that need to come out. All you have to do is just twist them out. I've already kind of started doing some, but they are pretty tight, but you just twist them counterclockwise and they start coming out. But yeah, you have 4 in each of these T15s. You also have these Christmas tree that you have to take out too. I've already taken out my carpet, and yeah, all this is gonna pretty much come back, and then you'll see what we have to do next. I actually picked this up from Harbor Freight. This is a really nice tool to have for like these little jobs. You know, let me see if I can show it to you. So it does lock, and then you can actually have it in this style or like this. So as I said, let's go ahead and pull out that T15. And as I said, all you gotta do, I'll turn the light back on to you, what you guys can see. Make sure you have this going in the right direction. Yeah, just take out the T15, and what I like to do, I will probably put these inside of the car, that way they don't get lost. So I also have some bags I'm going to be using too, but yeah, you want to make sure you keep track of all the stuff, that way it doesn't get lost. Now, in case you forget where these went, this is just an example of that screw, so don't forget. Invest in some good pry tools, obviously, for these. So you pull that one out, and then you're gonna do the same thing on this side. Slow and steady wins this race. Don't go fast, just take your time. They'll come out. I missed these 2 Christmas tree hooks at the bottom on both sides. So there's just 4 in total that I completely forgot about. And then this carpet should come right out. If not, I'll show you what else to do. If everything works out correctly, you should be able to pull the carpet out like this. But remember, we have to cut this up. So just put this off to the side, and then we'll tackle that in a second. Now we have 18 T15s to remove here. This piece will not be going back in, so your clear cover is going to be in place. But keep all of these T15s that you have to take out because you're going to reuse them. All the screws are out. I just put those on the side because we're going to be reusing those, so I know where to find them later. And now, man, this is pretty heavy actually. This is probably at least 2 pounds. But yeah, there it is, your factory intake system. So now there's 4 nuts that we have to take out right here on both sides. These are pretty easy to get to. I'm probably gonna use the exact same tool. I'm also gonna have to take out these, looks to be torque screws down there. We have to unplug this guy here, and then I'll show you guys what to do next. Here are those torque screws that were pretty much down here. So T30, I used this to get it out, and I did use on the right side. Not that one, where's my other one? Oh yeah, it's right down here. I use this guy for the right side. Right there, hopefully you guys can see. Yeah, right there, you see it right there? I used that power for the right side, but then on the left side I had to use the wrench because I didn't have enough space. But yeah, pretty easy. Now let's go ahead and get these 4 out on each side. I'll let you guys know the size of these 2. Those 4 or 8 bolts now are out. It's a number 10 millimeter. And then this is just gonna slide off basically on both sides. And now I gotta figure out what to do next. I have no clue. All right, I got the Christmas tree and the plug out. This one sits on top of a hot transmission, so this one gets mangled a little bit, so I can still reuse it, thankfully. So I put all these 10 mils back in the stock box and inlets. That way, if I ever decide I want to go back to stock, if I sell the car, I can find those really easy. So let's go ahead and take out these while we already have the tools out for it. I believe those are 10 mils also. Let's see. Well, I have to use a different one, but yeah, that's a 10 mil. So yeah, let's just get those out while we're back here on both sides. Let's go ahead and unplug these MAF sensors. There's two, one here, and then the other one you can see right there. If you can, it's right here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do those now. Now I cannot remember, but I think there's two nuts down below. I can't, oop, I lost my light. Come on, there we go. Oh man, I don't know. Oh, golly, I think I see it. That's a beast. Okay, so that one's gonna be a tough one to get to. And on this side, let's see if you can see it better from this angle. Okay, yeah, so man, it's deep in there. Let me get my tool. So let me tell you, I lost this thing because I have two toolboxes. And you see this right here? This guy can actually bend. So we're gonna put a Torx bit in there. But right here, it'll go right. Oh yeah, this is perfect. Yep, boom. So yeah, I'll just get that off pretty easily. And then I gotta figure out how to get that other one off. But I wish I could show it to you. They're just buried. Let's get these MAF sensors unplugged and then we'll move on to that. So these are undone. The way you do these, they're pretty easy. All you gotta do is slide the red clip back like so. I use a long, you can do flatter Phillips head, and I push down on the black tab and I just push with my other hand because this gives you a nice firm push with it. Because sometimes when dirt gets in these, they're hard, so I like to use compressed air, or sometimes I'll even wash off the engine bay before I do a big project because it kind of loosens up some of the dirt that gets stuck in these plugs. And then it just makes it super easy. But because this car doesn't get driven in the rain, the car has never seen rain, by the way, these plugs are super easy to get undone. Okay, so I had to go online and look. So there is a wire retention clip that I can take out of the back of this box here. And then, like I told you guys, I'll be able to get those T30s, because that's what I had to look up. I've already watched the videos. I just wanted to try to do this without watching them again to see if I could retain this information. But yes, once I get those T30s out, I gotta move over to these clamps, the hose clamps here for the intake. And then I should be able to push that box forward just a little bit, and I have to still undo some things. So don't just rip it out of there thinking you're done. You got some stuff you gotta do before you can completely remove that box. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you got the cash and you know you're gonna just do everything at once, just pay someone to do this. These torque screws took me an hour. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I literally had to build something, and you probably will see this a lot online, but I have a 6-inch here, and then I have a wobble, and then I have an adapter, and I have this piece for the Torx, and I barely had enough. I mean, if you use a longer one, it might be too long and you might need a better wobble. But yeah, if you have the cash, just pay someone to do this. I'm only doing this because this is a long-term video for my channel, and I know that it'll earn out to make it worth my while. But you gotta undo all of these clips here. One, there's two. I don't know if I can even show you all of them, but I will at the very least pull it out later. There's another clip right there. And again, as I said, you cannot pull this too hard because there are things attached to it that if you pull too hard, you could screw yourself. So just be careful. I'll show you all the clips I undo, and then we'll keep moving forward. All right, so far, there's a clip right here, right? That goes here. I just removed this brake clip right there. And we have to unplug, I think this is the antenna. We'll unplug this. And it looks like there's 1, 2 right there. And I'll let you know if there's any more. So everything was going great. My wife brought home some bonchon. You guys, if you like wings, they got Korean barbecue wings, they're killer. And so when she pulled in, I got really excited and I just yanked out my last Christmas tree here and broke it. So I don't know if you can even tell, but you see how it's kind of pulled out on the right side of here? If you go left to right to get it out, typically that keeps it from breaking like this, but I got excited and just yanked on it and it just broke. So just take your time with them. Obviously, if your car is older, these things just break regardless, so there's nothing you can do about it. But just buy clips from Amazon, the Christmas trees, or you can go to dealership and they probably have a diagram where you can just buy these. So the gray ones are the ones that typically break alongside the orange ones. So those 2 are the ones I would just order a couple extra ones of. But yeah, my solar throttle bodies aren't here, so I'm gonna pretty much stop. But what we're gonna do next, wifey over here, that beautiful woman right there, you got your shoes on in the house?
These are brand new.
Oh, they're brand new? Okay, never mind. There you go. I knew you wouldn't do that. I figured they were new, but yeah. She's gonna help me cut carpet. And let me tell you guys, you had a good wife when you can tear up her kitchen like this.
After I just cleaned.
After she just cleaned, and I apologize, but I was excited. So yeah, we're gonna have to cut this bad boy. So we gotta go back out to the garage. So we'll just do a little pilot hole here, and then I'm just gonna mark it. We gotta get a crayon. Can you go grab me one too? And then we'll start doing this, and then we'll pretty much be done for the day until that next shipment comes in. So unfortunately, this won't work because it's just too weak. And I'm pretty sure they have better ones, but this one is for 1/4 of an inch, and I thought that this would be fine, but what happens is when you start, it just stops. So, I mean, you could probably use it still, but it's just I think it's gonna be too much of a hassle. So if you had something that had a continuous cut like this, that's what you really want, because if it stops, it's just gonna be a really bad cut like that. So we're gonna use scissors, but yeah, what we'll do is we're just gonna kind of take this piece by piece. So it might be better just to kind of, you see how it's cutting a little bit easier like this when you pull on it like this. I mean, these are pretty good scissors too, so you want to get the best scissors you can find, or something better than that. I'll show you guys on Amazon what I got, and I'll put it in the description if they have a better cutter for that. The only thing is, like I said, this, yeah, I may just have to round this out a little bit better. Yeah, when you pull on it like this, it's pretty easy to cut. Again, we just gotta try to make the, there it is. All right. And I think you guys are kind of understanding, this is not too hard. It's just gonna take a little bit of time, and you wanna try to make it as clean as you can get it. Looks good to me, guys. I might just kind of maybe smoothen it out a little bit to make sure these sides match, but I think that looks perfect. And now all we have to do now is just wrap this, and then we can pretty much put all this back together once we have all our parts. So now we're gonna put on these mounting plates here. That's what I wanna call them. And they just kind of sit like this. So you need an Allen key. This is a 7/6/4, and then you're gonna need a 8mm for the nut on the back to get this tightened up. So yeah, so all I did was just hold it with the Allen key on the back, on the front of it I should say, And then I just start tightening up. And as it gets closer, I just mount it up like this. That way it's nice and flush. And then I start on the next one. Now we got to take out the antenna. You're not going to reuse these Torx here. But they're T20s. Now, unfortunately, there's no clear instructions on what nut goes where, and these are all kind of new from what I see online. So I'm going to put these number 7mm bolts here with the washers, and then on the back here you have a 3/32 Allen key. So that's the way it looks to go, and if it doesn't work or if they go anywhere else, I'll let you know. It's pretty much the next day, and I've already taken out the temp sensor on the stock intake box. I would consider this to be the back of the intake that came with the car. So I took that temp sense out and then I put it on this bracket here, right? So there it is. There's just 3 little tabs you have to push in, and it comes out super easy. We're gonna start bolting this stuff in really soon. My solar throttle bodies should be here any minute. So far I've already installed the ducts in here. You reuse your 10mm bolts that you took out from the factory on both sides. And I'm gonna leave these on here and see if I can try to get them in there on that carbon fiber intake. I've also replaced the Christmas tree clip. Which one is right here? So yeah, you can see that this is the new one I put on. This is the one I broke. This is the only one I've broken so far. And I got an assortment of these off of Amazon, so I can use those for any other projects in the future, obviously. So all I have to do is just mount the brackets in here. You're gonna reuse the bolts. You have 2 Torx, I think it was Torx 20s, I believe. I'll let you know here in a second. And then you have 2 more Torx 20s right here. So let me show you what you have to use for that. This bolt is actually a T30 here, okay? And this is the hole they give you to basically tighten that. Now, I do have this guy here. Unfortunately, it will not fit. Now, I could drill this out, but because it's so close to the edge, I don't want to do that. So then I had this guy. I was like, maybe I can just use this and tighten it, but unfortunately, this is too short too. So yeah, I thought that Eventuri gave you a tool to tighten these bolts, but I don't have one in my set, unfortunately. So I got to figure out how to tighten those bolts there. So in other words, if you're just prepping, you're going to want a longer Torx bit to get in there. I'll figure something out though. I think that, yeah, I might even have to go buy some longer ones because I'll need it anyway. So yeah, I wish this was just a little bit thinner, but if I figure out something else, I'll let you guys know. So this is pretty much how I'm going to tighten up these bolts here. I just had to think about it, but I have this removable head here, and I can just slide this in, the hole, connect it, boom. I can tighten those really easily now. So my throttle bodies got here 6 hours late, but it's okay, they're here. And you guys see, you're gonna have 4 bolts to take out. They're 10 mils. I'm gonna use a deep socket, and you also have to take off this Christmas tree clip here. And then there's like a bracket that we're gonna reuse too. So I'm gonna take these out, show you guys what they are. And really, we're pretty much done. Now, you do have to unplug these plugs here. So just slide back the gray clip. These are really easy. You push down on the gray clip on both sides. And yeah, the reason why they're coming out so easy because I already did it earlier, but they're easy if you don't prep them either. But yeah, let's go and take these out. I'll show you guys a quick comparison, and I'm gonna show you really quickly where everything goes, and then the video's done because this video is going way too long. So yeah, I wanna go ahead and finish it off, and then stay tuned for some performance test. So here are the factory throttle bodies. And look at these guys. These are like beautiful. All new hardware, so you don't have to switch anything over. But yeah, here's all the bolts. There's that little bracket that I pulled out for that push pin, or it's actually just a Christmas tree clip. And so yeah, you have to put this back on here. And of course, these are the 10 mils I said. And when you go to tighten this back up, these were not that tight. I mean, they're snugged, but don't over tighten these. So obviously you don't run into any issues in the future. So I would just say use hand tools to put these back in. Don't forget your temp sensor down here. I'm gonna cut this Christmas tree off because it's too mangled to get into this hole. I can force it in there, but I'd rather just replace it. But remember, your O2 sensors are here. And then this is just another Christmas tree. Here's another one here. And then this is the transmission vent tube. I just put it right there. And I don't know if you guys saw earlier, but I did install this wrong. I probably will fix it for you, but yeah, that's the correct way for that. And you guys already saw how I put those T30s in, and then I reused all 4 of these bolts just in case you forgot. But yeah, all we have to do now is just put this back together for both sides, and then we're pretty much done. I'm thinking that at this point you should be able to figure things out. Everything is back together. No check engine lights. I just took it for a quick drive. Didn't lose any bolts. Probably the first time I've ever taken this much stuff apart and didn't lose anything. So that's a good success. Later.